Okay, take care, Art. Bye-bye. Just close that there.
So always moving and shaking and making things happen, President Ivory. What's when we talk about the real plan for the agenda, for the pro-black business agenda, and what you think is of critical importance? I know there's a number of different things that are important in terms of being understanding, engagement, and so forth. But what do you think is probably at the top of that list of consciousness where we need to be understanding as part of the black business, pro-black business agenda?
Yeah, like I said, we live in a capitalistic society, and our philosophy has been very clear, is that we strengthen black businesses, we therefore strengthen black communities, and therefore we improve the lives of African American people. We think that's positive. The real challenge for us is really us understanding kind of what the current environment is. And when we take a look at the environment for black business throughout the country, especially in Illinois, we haven't fared as well as we'd like. We've made some progress, but we haven't done enough. We're not participating at a real level that we think brings about any degree of equity. You know, the disparity between wealth of African Americans and Caucasians is still significant. Where you're talking about 80,000 compared to 8,000. You know, there's a big gap. And we think that from a chamber perspective that we really have to focus on strengthening businesses. And how do we do that? Through education, training, advocacy, policy. Those are things that I think we got to focus on. I think perhaps in our zeal, we have been probably far more focused on social service. Even our legislators that has had we were there, but the question is that we were too heavily weighted and we wouldn't diversify. You know, it's like having an investment strategy where you put all your money in the banks. If the banks goes down, so do you go down. So you never put all your eggs in one basket. The basket where I think is the greatest opportunity, that has the greatest impact, is not in social service and hoping that someone gives you some money. It's your ability to create your own money by creating jobs and opportunities and creating wealth. And so we have a real focus, and we believe it is the evolution, in our opinion, of black political movement is to strengthen black businesses. On the other side, like we said, the business of politics and the politics of business. The other thing I've been very puzzled by, Mike, is that we have spent a lot of time and energy, and for a long period of time, we've been doing the same thing on a political front. And I think this is very critical, in my opinion. It's difficult, but it's important for us to have the conversation. It's a conversation that I believe we should have had 20, 30 years ago, but we haven't had the conversation. Why we haven't had it, I'm not sure. I'm puzzled by the fact that we have continued to do the same thing. And what I mean by that is that we have gone too far to the left. And too far to the left is really, on the political strategy side, is the worst place to be. Now, why is that the worst place to be? Number one, it's bad because the Democrats take us for granted because they got us. Now, you understand that because they got us, they feel comfortable that we're not going to vote someplace else. When election time, people are trying to get the undecided votes. African Americans have demonstrated their commitment to the Democratic Party to a point that it has harmed them. And I think they got to reevaluate that position, okay? I think they really got to ask themselves, is it working for us? If it's not working for us, and I believe it's not, then we have to make a conscious decision like any business person. If you got a business and you have a business process that's not working, that's not creating greater efficiency or greater productivity or making more money, then as a business owner, you got to tweak the process and change it. Well, I'm puzzled why African America hasn't changed their strategy politically in quite some time. And I think there's a big problem because we're not leveraging our political might at the level we should. So my opinion is that the worst place we could be is where we're at, where the Republicans don't think that they have a real opportunity, so they don't spend any time trying to woo us, and the Democrats don't feel like they got to woo us because they already got us. There's no worse position politically to be in than that position, in my opinion. Now, the same thing would be true if you were too far to the right. If you're so far to the right for such a long period of time, then the right may take you for granted, and the Democrats may not decide that they can do anything with you. It's really the wrong position there too. So fundamentally, I think we can all agree that the best place to be is in the center. It's absolutely in the center. Make everyone compete for your interests. That makes you more relevant. Now, if we're too far to the left, the only way scientifically to get to the center is that you've got to move to the right. It has nothing to do with party. African Americans have always reacted to everybody else. It's time for us to set our agenda and make people react to us. It would be great, in my opinion, for us to have an agenda. It doesn't matter who's in office. And I know right now with some political environments, the President of the United States may not be to everyone's liking. I'm not saying that we ought to move in that direction. I'm simply saying in the state politics of Illinois that we got to begin to understand that we got to put ourselves in a position that makes us more relevant at the end of the day. And that's all I'm saying, is that the best place to be is to be in the center. And the only way to get to the center, if you're too far to the left, is to move to the right. So I believe that we have an incredible opportunity to begin to shape our own political destiny in a way that's never been done before. But I think the benefits of doing so could be enormous. So we're going to have some elections coming up. It ain't really about the governor or about the speaker. It's really about what's best for us. That's really all what matters at the end of the day. We're probably the only group of people who tie all the political clouds tied into one party. And I believe that that is a flawed strategy. I can't imagine why leadership across the state, as smart as they are, have not decided to have this conversation, which is, in my opinion, the only logical conversation for us to have. Let's have our own agenda. Let's use our political clout to put ourselves in a position. Now, there may be some short-term pain, but the long-term benefit outweighs the short-term pain that may exist in making the change and changing the strategy for Black people. And I'm only interested in trying to make things better for African Americans. Now, here's what I believe, Mike. I believe that all the communities, when you go to communities and you have high crime, normally it's in the Black community, as a rule of thumb. And if you ask people, white people who are mayors and leadership, they would like to reduce that crime because all of them are competing to attract talent and companies to their area, where they have high crime, high unemployment, high crime, all those things make them less attractive. So it's incumbent upon them to reduce the crime and make their community more attractive and improve education. I believe that the Chamber plays a significant role in making America better by focusing on business growth and development strategy, making sure that is the focal point, our attention, where we invest our time, energy, and resources. I believe that the return on investment is far greater for us to do that than to do what we've been doing. So I'm encouraged, Mike. We're telling that story. We're going to continue to tell that story because we think it makes sense.
So move to the center.
Move to the center.
Once again, President Ivory showing tremendous focus in the fray there. Phone just blowing up. We're going to let you get back to it, man. It's been an excellent word from the President. Looking forward to many more. Thank you, President.